The stars looked cold and empty around the damaged ship called Harmony's Dream. Captain Veltarek stood on the bridge, watching the lights flicker as another power system failed. His forearms moved quickly across the control panels, but nothing worked anymore. The great colony ship that carried 50,000 of his people was dying in the darkness of space. "Captain, the main engines are completely dead," reported his second officer. "The explosion damaged everything. We cannot move or repair them." Veltarix felt his heart sink. They had been traveling to their new home world when disaster struck. A simple maintenance check had gone wrong, and now they were trapped. The ship still had air and heat, but not for long. Maybe 3 days. 4, if they were lucky. "Send out a distress call," he ordered. "Use all frequencies. Someone must hear us." The communications officer began broadcasting their message across the galaxy. It was simple and desperate. "This is the colony ship Harmony's Dream. We need help. Our engines are destroyed. 50,000 people will die without rescue. Please, anyone who receives this message, we are peaceful people. We just need someone to save us." The message traveled through space at the speed of light, reaching out to any civilization that might listen. The Calarians had always been a peaceful race. They traded with other species, shared knowledge, and never fought wars. Surely, someone would help them. Light years away, on a small blue planet called Earth, the message arrived at a massive array of radio dishes. The deep space communication center sat in a quiet valley, always listening for signals from the stars. Most days, they heard nothing but cosmic noise. Today was different. Hyunwoo was working the night shift when his computer started beeping. The young man had been monitoring space signals for 2 years, and this was the first time anything interesting had happened. The signal was strong and clearly artificial. It was not random noise from a star or planet. "Computer, analyze the signal," he said, leaning forward in his chair. The artificial intelligence began working on the strange transmission. Within minutes, it had found patterns in the signal. It was a language, but not one from Earth. The computer compared it to known mathematical principles and slowly began to translate. Hyunwoo watched the translation appear on his screen. His eyes grew wide as he read the message. Aliens. Real aliens were asking for help. They were dying in space, and their message had reached Earth. He reached for his phone with shaking hands. This was too important for normal procedures. He called his supervisor directly. "Sir, this is Hyunwoo at Deep Space Station 7. I need to speak with you immediately. We have received a message from an alien species." 20 minutes later, the communication center was full of people. Scientists, military officers, and government officials had all rushed to see the alien message. They played it over and over, checking the translation, making sure it was real. Dr. Kim from the university studied the signal patterns. "This is definitely not from Earth," she confirmed. "The mathematical structure is different from anything humans would create. This is genuine." Admiral Boram arrived an hour after the first call. She was a serious woman who ran Earth's space defense forces. While the scientists were excited about meeting aliens, she was worried about threats to Earth. "What do we know about these aliens?" she asked. "They call themselves Calarians," Hyunwoo explained. "They say they are peaceful. Their ship is damaged and they need rescue." "Where are they located?" A technician brought up a star map on the main screen. "The signal came from here," he said, pointing to a region of space. "It is about 40 light years from Earth, in an area we call the Proxima Void." Admiral Boram frowned. The Proxima Void was not a safe place. 3 human exploration ships had gone there in the past 5 years. None had ever returned. Earth had marked that region as dangerous and forbidden. "Send this information to Terra Command immediately," she ordered, "and get me a secure line to the Defense Council." Back on the alien ship, Captain Veltarix waited for a response to their distress call. His people were scared, but they still had hope. The Calarians believed that intelligent life everywhere was basically good. Someone would come to help them. "Captain, we are receiving responses," the communications officer reported. "Several nearby systems have acknowledged our message. They are sending ships to help us." "How long until they arrive?" "The closest rescue ships will be here in 6 days." Veltarix felt despair wash over him. 6 days was too long. They would all be dead by then. But then another message came through, this one different from the others. "Captain, we have a new response. This one is strange. The translation is difficult, but I think they are called humans. They say they received our message and they are responding. How long until they arrive? Their message says 2 days. Hope filled the bridge crew. 2 days they could survive. These humans, whoever they were, would save them." Veltarix had never heard of humans before, but they must be a kind and advanced species to travel so fast. On Earth, Admiral Boram stood in the war room deep under Terra Command. Around the table sat the most important military and scientific leaders of humanity. They were making a decision that would change everything. "The alien ship is exactly where our exploration vessels disappeared," said General Park. "This could be a trap. Or it could be a coincidence," argued Dr. Lee, the chief of xenobiology. "We cannot let innocent people die because we are afraid." Admiral Boram studied the data on her tablet. The location was definitely suspicious. But if these aliens were really in trouble, Earth had a chance to make friends with the first alien species they had ever met. "Here is what we will do," she decided. "We will respond to their distress call, but we will not send rescue ships or medical supplies. We will send the retribution." The room went quiet. Everyone knew about the retribution. It was Earth's most powerful warship, designed to destroy entire fleets. It was not a rescue vessel. "Admiral, if these aliens are really peaceful," Dr. Lee began, "then they will be rescued." Boram cut him off. "But if this is a trap, they will learn why humans survived on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Contact Captain Do-hyun. Tell him to prepare for immediate departure." The message went out to the humans' most deadly ship. In 2 days, the aliens would learn what kind of species they had called for help. They wanted rescue from the stars. Instead, they were getting Earth's apex predators. Admiral Boram stood at the head of the long metal table in Terra Command's secure briefing room. The room was deep underground, protected by meters of steel and concrete. Around the table sat the people who would decide humanity's response to the first alien contact in history. "Before we make any decisions, I want everyone to understand the situation," Boram began. She pressed a button, and a holographic star map appeared above the table. A red dot marked the location of the alien distress call. "The signal came from here, in the Proxima Void. This is the same region where we lost 3 ships in 5 years. The exploration vessel Pioneer vanished there in 2387. The science ship Discovery disappeared in 2389. Most recently, the heavy cruiser Defiant went missing just 8 months ago." Dr. Tae Min, Earth's leading expert on alien biology, leaned forward. "Admiral, with respect, that could be a coincidence. Space is dangerous. Ships are lost for many reasons." "Perhaps," Boram replied, But I did not survive 30 years in space by believing in coincidences. Commander So Young pulled up detailed files on her tablet. She was Terra Command's best tactical officer, known for her careful planning and deadly effectiveness. I have analyzed the alien message. Several things concern me. First, they claim to have 50,000 people on board. That is a massive colony ship, far larger than anything we have built. Second, they say their engines are completely destroyed, but they are maintaining perfect position in space. A truly dead ship would be drifting. Engineer Wu Jin nodded in agreement. He had spent 20 years designing spacecraft and knew how they behaved in space. So Young is correct. A ship with no engines should be tumbling and drifting with whatever momentum it had. This ship is perfectly stable. There could be emergency systems keeping it steady, Dr. Taman argued. We should not assume the worst about the first aliens we meet. Boram activated another display. This one showed Earth's current military assets. Dr. Taman, I hope you are right, but my job is to protect humanity. If these aliens are innocent, we will save them. If they are not, we will defend ourselves. She pointed to a ship designation on the screen. I am activating Protocol 7 and deploying the Retribution under Captain Do Hyun. This will be a military response, not a humanitarian mission. The room erupted in protests from the civilian scientists. Dr. Taman stood up quickly. Admiral, you cannot send a warship to first contact. The Retribution is designed for destroying enemy fleets, not rescue operations. What message does that send about humanity? It sends the message that Earth is not defenseless, Boram replied calmly. These aliens chose to call for help from a region where our ships disappear. If they are innocent, they will welcome any help. If they are guilty, they will learn what happens when they threaten human lives. Commander So Young brought up the Retribution's specifications. The ship was 1 kilometer long and carried enough weapons to level a planet's surface. It had been designed after humanity's first contact with hostile alien probes 20 years earlier. Earth had decided never to be caught unprepared again. The Retribution carries a full crew of 1,200, So Young reported. Captain Do Hyun is our most experienced deep space commander. If this is a trap, he will handle it. If it is a genuine rescue, he has the resources to help 50,000 people. Engineer Wu Jin pulled up technical data about the alien ship. I have been analyzing their distress signal. The technology behind their communication is advanced, possibly more advanced than ours. A species with that level of technology should be able to repair basic engine damage. Unless the damage is truly catastrophic, Dr. Taman countered. Or unless they are lying, So Young said bluntly. Admiral Boram called for quiet. The decision is made. We respond with strength, not weakness. If these aliens are peaceful, they will understand our caution. If they are hostile, they will regret their choice. She activated the communication system. Get me Captain Do Hyun on secure channel. The main screen lit up with the image of a stern-faced man in his 40s. Captain Do Hyun had commanded warships for 15 years and had never lost a battle. His dark eyes showed the intelligence and caution that had kept him alive in the dangerous job of protecting Earth's interests in space. Admiral, I received the preliminary briefing. You want the Retribution to respond to an alien distress call? Correct, Captain. But this is not a rescue mission. This is a first contact scenario in hostile space. You will approach with full combat readiness and investigate the situation. If the aliens are genuine refugees, you will provide assistance. If they are hostile, you will eliminate the threat. Do Hyun nodded. Understood. When do we deploy? Immediately. How quickly can you reach the target? With our new quantum drive, 36 hours. My crew is already preparing for departure. Dr. Tae-min made one last attempt to change the Admiral's mind. Please, Admiral, at least send a diplomatic officer with the ship. Someone trained in peaceful contact with new species. Boram considered this. Captain, take Dr. Yunji with you. She is our best xenolinguist and cultural specialist, but make it clear to her that this is a military operation under your command. Yes, Admiral. We will be ready to depart in 4 hours. After the communication ended, the room remained tense. The civilian scientists were unhappy with the military response, but they understood the risks. Humanity had learned hard lessons about trusting unknown contacts in space. Engineer Wu Jin began preparing technical specifications for the mission. Captain Do Hyun will need detailed analysis of the alien signal. I can provide background on their technology level and possible capabilities. Commander So Young was already planning tactical approaches. I will send him 3 different battle plans depending on what kind of trap this might be. The Retribution should be prepared for anything from simple pirates to a full alien fleet. Dr. Taeman gathered his xenobiology files. I will prepare first contact protocols for Dr. Yunji. If these aliens are peaceful, we need to make a good impression. Admiral Boram watched her team work. In 36 hours, humanity would make contact with its first alien species. She hoped they would prove to be friends. But if they were enemies, they would learn why humans had conquered the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Earth had spent millions of years creating the perfect predator. Now the galaxy would meet one face to face. Far away in space, the alien. Ship Harmony's dream continued its silent drift. Captain Veltarix and his people had no idea what kind of species they had contacted. They expected rescue ships with food, medicine, and repair equipment. Instead, they were about to meet the most lethal military force in their region of space. The countdown to first contact had begun. The space around Harmony's dream had been empty and quiet for 2 days. Captain Veltarix stood on his bridge, watching the stars and hoping to see the lights of rescue ships. His people were getting weaker as the air grew thin and the ship grew cold. But help was coming. The humans had promised to arrive today. Captain, his communications officer called out, I am detecting something approaching. It is moving very fast. Is it the human rescue ship? The officer worked frantically at his controls, trying to get a clear reading. I cannot tell yet. The object is still too far away, but Captain, it is much larger than I expected. On the bridge of the Retribution, Captain Do Hyun stood with his hands behind his back, watching the alien ship grow larger on the main screen. His vessel had just dropped out of quantum space, arriving exactly where the distress signal had originated. But something was wrong with this picture. First Officer Yonseo, what are your sensors telling us? Yonseo was a brilliant young woman who had graduated first in her class from the Space Academy. Her job was to be Do Hyun's eyes and ears, gathering information about everything around them. She frowned as she studied her displays. Captain, the alien vessel is approximately 3 kilometers long. It appears to be a colony ship as they claimed. But I am reading some unusual energy signatures. What kind of signatures? There are active power systems throughout the ship. More active systems than a ship in distress should have. Also, their hull composition includes materials we have never seen before. Very advanced alloys. Dr. Yunji stepped forward from her position at the science station. She was a small woman with sharp eyes who had spent years studying alien languages and cultures. This was her first real chance to meet aliens, and she was both excited and nervous. "Captain, should I attempt to establish communication?" Do-hyun nodded. "Open a channel. Let us see what these aliens have to say." The main screen changed to show the bridge of the alien ship. Captain Veltarix appeared, and the humans got their first look at an alien species. He was tall and thin, with 4 arms and blue-green skin. His large eyes showed relief and hope when he saw the human faces. "Thank you for coming to help us," Veltarix said through the translation system. "I am Captain Veltarix of the Kalarian people. We are grateful that you received our message." Do-hyun studied the alien captain carefully. The being seemed genuine, but Do-hyun had learned never to trust first impressions. "I am Captain Do-hyun of Earth. We received your distress call." "What is your situation?" "Our engines were destroyed in an accident. We have 50,000 people aboard this ship, and our life support is failing. We need rescue ships to take our people to safety." Behind Do-hyun, Weapons Officer Jae-sung quietly checked his systems. The Retribution's guns were charged and ready, hidden beneath closed armor plates. If this was a trap, the humans would be ready to fight. "Captain Veltarix, our sensors show active power systems throughout your ship. Why do you have so much power if your engines are destroyed?" Veltarix seemed confused by the question. "We have backup power for life support and essential systems, but our main engines are completely destroyed. We cannot move." Dr. Yoon-ji was recording everything, studying the aliens' body language and speech patterns. Something felt wrong to her, but she could not identify what it was. First Officer Yeon-seo whispered to Captain Do-hyun, "Sir, I am detecting weapons systems aboard their ship. They are powered down, but they exist. This is not just a colony ship." Do-hyun's expression did not change, but his mind began working faster. A colony ship with hidden weapons was not necessarily suspicious. Many civilian ships carried defensive systems. But combined with the location and the missing human ships, it raised questions. "Captain Veltarix, this region of space is known to be dangerous. We have lost several ships here. Did you encounter any hostile forces before your accident?" "No, we saw nothing. This area seemed empty when we arrived." "What kind of hostile forces?" "Pirates, mostly. Ships that attack others for profit." Veltarix's expression changed slightly when Do-hyun mentioned pirates. It was just a flicker, but Dr. Yoon-ji caught it and made a note. "We know nothing about pirates," Veltarix said. "We are peaceful traders and colonists. We have never harmed anyone." Captain Do-hyun made a decision. "We are going to send a team aboard your ship to assess the damage and see how we can help. Is that acceptable?" "Of course. We welcome any assistance." After ending the communication, Do-hyun turned to his senior staff. Security Chief Min-ho had joined them on the bridge. He was a large, quiet man who had fought in every major space battle of the last decade. "What do you think?" Do-hyun asked his officers. "Something is not right," Yeon-seo said immediately. "Their story has too many holes. A ship that advanced should be able to repair basic engine damage." Min-ho agreed. "The weapon systems concern me. No colony ship needs that much firepower for defense." Dr. Yoon-ji was more cautious. "They could be telling the truth. We should not judge an entire species based on our suspicions." Engineer Woo Jin had been studying the alien ship's design. "Captain, I have been analyzing their hull structure. The damage they claim should have left visible scars on the ship's exterior. I see no such damage." This was the most troubling information yet. Do-hyun considered their options. Minho, prepare a boarding team. Full combat gear, but keep weapons concealed. I want a complete scan of their ship. Yes, sir. How many men? Take 12. Enough to handle trouble, but not so many that it looks like an invasion. As the security team prepared to board the alien ship, Captain Do-hyun made another decision. Yonseo, conduct a deep scan of the surrounding space. If this is an ambush, there may be other ships hiding nearby. Already on it, Captain. So far I detect nothing, but I will keep scanning. Dr. Yoon-ji worked on analyzing the alien language and behavior patterns. Captain, I noticed something during our conversation. When you mentioned pirates, Captain Veltarix showed signs of stress. His eye movements changed, and his voice pitch shifted slightly. Meaning, either he is lying about not knowing pirates, or he knows more than he is telling us. Captain Do-hyun stared at the alien ship on his screen. It looked peaceful enough, just drifting helplessly in space. But his instincts told him there was more to this situation. The location was too suspicious. The ship was too advanced. The story had too many problems. All stations remain at combat alert, he ordered. If these aliens are innocent, we will help them. If they are not, they are about to learn what happens when they threaten human lives. The boarding shuttle launched from the Retribution, carrying 12 of Earth's most elite soldiers toward the alien ship. They were about to discover the truth about the Kalarians and their distress call. Behind them, the Retribution waited like a sleeping predator, ready to strike if needed. The aliens had called for help from Earth. They were about to learn what kind of help humans provided. The human boarding shuttle docked with Harmony's Dream with a soft metallic thud. Security Chief Minho checked his weapon one final time before stepping through the airlock. Behind him came 11 of Earth's most elite soldiers, each one trained, to fight in the deadly environments of space. Captain Veltarix waited in the docking bay with a group of his officers. The humans were smaller than he had expected, but something about them made him nervous. They moved with the careful precision of predators, constantly watching everything around them. "Welcome aboard our ship," Veltarix said through the translation device. "Thank you for coming to help us." Minho nodded politely, but his eyes were scanning the docking bay for threats. His soldiers spread out in a defensive pattern without seeming to do so. To the aliens, it looked casual. To trained eyes, it was a combat formation. "We are here to assess your damage and see how we can help," Minho replied. "My engineers need to examine your engine systems. Of course, I will take you there personally." As they walked through the corridors of the alien ship, Minho's team took careful note of everything they saw. The ship was indeed advanced, with technology that seemed beyond current human capabilities. But something else caught their attention. For a ship carrying 50,000 refugees, it was remarkably empty. "Captain Veltarix," Minho said carefully, "where are your people? I expected to see crowded corridors and emergency shelters. Most of our population is in the lower decks, conserving oxygen. We have been very careful to minimize movement and breathing." It was a reasonable explanation, but it did not match what the humans were seeing. The air in the ship was clean and fresh, not the stale, thin atmosphere of a failing life support system. Back on the Retribution, Dr. Yoon-ji was working with the translation computer to analyze every word the aliens had spoken. Something in their language patterns bothered her, but she could not identify exactly what it was. "Captain," she called to Do-hyun, "I am finding inconsistencies in their story. When Captain Veltarix talks about the accident, His speech patterns suggest he is reciting something rehearsed rather than remembering a traumatic event. First Officer Yeon Seo looked up from her sensor station. Captain, I am detecting something else. There are areas of the alien ship that my scanners cannot penetrate. They have some kind of shielding in place. What kind of shielding? Unknown. But it is blocking our attempts to scan specific sections of their ship. That level of technology is far beyond what a civilian vessel should have. Captain Do-hyun felt his suspicions growing stronger. Every piece of information they gathered made the alien story seem less believable, but he needed proof before he could act. Keep scanning, he ordered, and monitor the boarding team's progress. On the alien ship, Min-ho and his team had reached the engine room. What they found there confirmed their worst fears. The engines were not destroyed. They were shut down, but completely functional. Scorch marks had been painted on to simulate damage, but underneath the fake burns, the machinery was perfect. Sergeant Kyung-ho, the team's technical expert, whispered into his communicator. "Chief, these engines are not damaged. Someone has deliberately made them look broken." Min-ho felt his hand move instinctively toward his concealed weapon. This was definitely a trap, but he had to be careful. Starting a fight while surrounded by potentially hostile aliens was dangerous, even for elite soldiers. "Captain Veltarix," he said calmly, "your engines appeared to be in working condition. Why did you tell us they were destroyed?" The alien captain's expression changed. For a moment, his friendly mask slipped, and Min-ho saw something cold and calculating in his eyes. "You must be mistaken," Veltarix replied. "Our engines were completely destroyed in the accident." "Show me the damage." Veltarix led them to a section of the engine room where metal panels had been blackened and twisted. But Kyung-ho immediately saw that the damage was superficial. Someone had used cutting tools to create fake destruction. "This damage is not from an accident," Kyung-ho said quietly. "It was created deliberately to fool inspectors." Captain Veltarix heard the comment and realized the humans had discovered the truth. His friendly expression disappeared completely, replaced by cold hostility. "You humans are more perceptive than the others," he said. "Most species see what they expect to see. Peaceful aliens in distress." Min-ho's team immediately went into combat formation, weapons appearing in their hands, as if by magic. They had been expecting this moment since boarding the ship. "The others?" Min-ho asked. "You mean the ships that disappeared in this region?" 3 human ships, yes. Also vessels from a dozen other species. All of them came to rescue us. All of them became our prey. The truth was finally revealed. The Calarians were not refugees. They were pirates who used fake distress calls to lure in unsuspecting rescue ships. Once their victims arrived, the Calarians would attack, steal everything valuable, and destroy the evidence. "How many ships have you destroyed?" Min-ho demanded. Veltarix smiled, showing teeth that looked far too sharp for a peaceful species. "In the past 10 years? Perhaps 200? You humans were especially interesting. Your ships had better weapons than most, but they still fell for our simple trap." On the Retribution, Yeonseo's sensors suddenly screamed warnings. "Captain! 3 ships are approaching at high speed. They are decloaking from stealth systems." Do-hyun spun around to look at the main screen. 3 massive Calarian warships were materializing out of empty space, their weapons charging for attack. The trap was finally springing. "Red alert!" Do-hyun commanded. "All hands to battle stations. This is not a rescue mission anymore." The ship's alarms began blaring as the crew rushed to their combat positions. Weapons Officer Jae Sung brought the Retribution's massive guns online, while Engineer Woo Jin maximized power to shields and engines. "Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the lead Kalarian ship," Dr. Yoonji reported. "Put it through." The screen showed a different Kalarian, this one wearing what looked like military armor. His expression was cruel and confident. "Human vessel, you are surrounded and outgunned. Surrender your ship, and we will kill your crew quickly. Resist, and we will take you apart slowly." Captain Do-hyun smiled, and there was nothing friendly in that expression. It was the smile of a predator who had been challenged by smaller predators. "This is Captain Do-hyun of the Earth warship Retribution. You have made a serious mistake. You think you are the hunters here? You are wrong." The Kalarian commander laughed. "One human ship against 3 of ours? Your species is brave but stupid." "Let me explain something to you," Do-hyun replied calmly. "You have been preying on peaceful species who come to help others. You chose to attack humans. We are not peaceful. We are from a world where everything tries to kill everything else. We survived by becoming the best killers in the galaxy." He gestured to Jae Sung. "Fire all weapons." The Retribution unleashed hell upon the pirates who had made the mistake of hunting humans. They were about to learn why Earth was called a death world. It was not because the planet was dangerous. It was because the humans who lived there had made it that way. The moment Captain Do-hyun gave the order to fire, space around the Retribution erupted in deadly light. The human warship's weapons were designed for one purpose: destroying enemy vessels with overwhelming force. Plasma cannons, particle beams, and missile launchers all fired at once, turning the darkness of space into a brilliant battlefield. The lead Kalarian ship took the first hit directly to its forward section. The pirates had been expecting an easy fight against a single rescue vessel. Instead, they faced the concentrated firepower of Earth's most advanced warship. Their shields flared and collapsed under the assault. "Impossible!" the Kalarian commander screamed over the communication channel. "No single ship has that much firepower." Captain Do-hyun watched calmly as his weapons tore into the pirate vessels. "You have been hunting the wrong species," he replied. "Jae Sung, target their weapons systems. I want them disabled, not destroyed. We need information." Weapons Officer Jae Sung was a master of his craft. He had trained for 15 years to use the Retribution's arsenal with surgical precision. His fingers danced over the control panels as he selected specific targets on each enemy ship, targeting their primary weapon arrays, he reported. "Firing." The human ship's guns spoke again, this time with focused bursts that cut through the Kalarian ship's weapon systems like a sword through paper. Within seconds, all 3 pirate vessels were defenseless. On the alien colony ship, Security Chief, Minho and his team were fighting their own battle. The moment the space battle began, Captain Veltarix had dropped his peaceful pretense completely. Hidden panels in the walls had opened, revealing Kalarian soldiers with advanced energy weapons. "Kill the humans," Veltarix ordered. "Our ships will destroy theirs, and we will take their technology." But the Kalarians had made a critical mistake. They had invited Earth's elite soldiers onto their ship, giving them the chance to fight in close quarters. This was exactly the kind of combat humans had evolved for. Sergeant Kyung-ho rolled behind a piece of machinery as energy blasts scorched the air where he had been standing. His combat training kicked in automatically. On Earth, humans had spent millions of years as hunters, learning to fight and kill in small groups. These skills translated perfectly to ship-to-ship combat. "Contact rear," called out Corporal Haiwan as more Kalarian soldiers appeared behind them. The humans immediately shifted into a defensive formation, using the engine room's equipment as cover. Minho activated his communicator. "Retribution, this is the boarding team. We are under attack. The aliens are definitely hostiles. Captain." Do-Hyun's voice came back immediately. "Understood. Hold your position. We are dealing with their ships now." The space battle was turning into a one-sided massacre. The three Kalarian ships had been designed to prey on weak civilian vessels, not fight a military warship. Their weapons were powerful enough to destroy unarmed rescue ships, but they were no match for the Retribution's advanced armor and shields. First Officer Yeonseo monitored the battle from her station. "Captain, the enemy ships are trying to retreat. Should we pursue?" "No, let them try to run. I want to see how fast they are." The damaged Kalarian ships fired their engines and attempted to flee the battle, but their escape attempt revealed another. Surprise! These were not the slow, clumsy vessels they pretended to be. They were fast attack ships with advanced propulsion systems. "Fascinating," Do-Hyun observed. "Their ships are much more advanced than they appeared. These pirates have been very successful for a long time." Engineer Woo Jin was analyzing the enemy vessel's technology. "Captain, their ship designs are incredibly sophisticated. This is military-grade hardware, not something pirates should have access to. Which means they are not simple pirates," Do-Hyun concluded. "They are organized, well-equipped, and have been operating for years. Jae-sung, disable their engines. I want them captured, not destroyed." The Retribution's weapons reached out again, precisely targeting the fleeing ship's propulsion systems. One by one, the Kalarian vessels lost power and began drifting helplessly in space. On the colony ship, the fighting had intensified. The Kalarians had superior numbers, but the humans had superior training and equipment. More importantly, they had the mindset of creatures that had evolved to hunt and kill in groups. Corporal Haiwan flanked around a group of alien soldiers while they focused on Minho's position. She moved with the silent precision of a predator, striking from an unexpected angle. Her plasma rifle cut down 3 enemies before they realized she was there. "These humans fight like demons," one Kalarian soldier screamed before Sergeant Kyung-ho silenced him permanently. Captain Veltarix realized his trap had become a nightmare. The humans were not falling into panic or confusion like other species. Instead, they fought with the calm efficiency of born killers. Each human soldier was worth 5 of his own troops. "Fall back to the bridge," he ordered. "Seal the blast doors." But the humans were not going to let him escape. Minho led his team in pursuit, using their knowledge of ship layouts to predict where the aliens would go. They had studied the Kalarian vessel's design during their approach, and now that knowledge became a tactical advantage. Back in space, Captain Do-Hyun was receiving reports from his boarding team. "Sir, we have taken control of most of the enemy ship. The remaining hostiles are trapped on the bridge." "Excellent. Yeonseo, what is the status of the 3 enemy ships?" "All disabled, Captain. They are helpless." Do-Hyun activated the communication system again. "Kalarian vessels, this is Captain Do-Hyun. Your ships are disabled, and your boarding parties are defeated. You have 2 choices: surrender immediately or be destroyed." The response came from the lead Kalarian ship, but the commander's voice had lost all its confidence. You cannot. Be human. No species fights like this. We are human," Do-Hyun replied. "We come from a planet where every day is a struggle to survive. We learn to hunt in packs, to fight without mercy, and to never give up. You chose to prey on peaceful species who come to help others. Now you face a species that evolved to be predators. Dr. Yoon-ji had been recording everything for later analysis. Captain, I am detecting additional signals in this system. There may be more Calarian ships hiding nearby. How many? At least 6 more vessels, possibly more. They are maintaining communication silence, but I can detect their engine signatures. Do-hyun smiled grimly. The trap was even larger than they had thought. The Calarians had built an entire fleet to prey on rescue ships, but they had made the mistake of attacking humans. All stations, prepare for extended combat. It appears we have found the source of the missing ships in this region. Today, we end their operations permanently. He opened a channel to the boarding team. Minho, secure that ship completely. I want their databases intact. We need to know how many species they have been attacking. Understood, Captain. We are breaching their bridge now. The battle for the Calarian pirate base was about to begin. The aliens had expected to add 1 more human ship to their collection of victims. Instead, they were about to learn what happened when Deathworld predators came hunting. The humans had evolved on a planet where survival meant becoming the ultimate killer. Today, the galaxy would see that evolution in action. The hunt was about to begin. The bridge doors of the Calarian ship exploded inward as Minho's team used shaped charges to break through. Smoke filled the command center as the human soldiers moved in with deadly precision. Captain Veltarix and his remaining crew found themselves facing the business end of human plasma rifles. "Surrender now," Minho commanded, his weapon trained on the alien captain. "You have lost." Veltarix looked around at his bridge crew. Half of them were dead or wounded from the fighting. The rest were staring at the human soldiers with terror in their eyes. These humans moved like killing machines, never wasting motion, always covering each other's positions. "You cannot win," Veltarix said desperately. "There are more ships coming, many more. You are outnumbered." "Then they will share your fate," Minho replied coldly. "Kyung-ho, secure their computer systems. I want everything downloaded. Sergeant." Kyung-ho moved to the alien computer terminals and began connecting human data extraction devices. The Calarian technology was advanced, but human computer specialists had prepared for this possibility. In space around them, Captain Do-hyun was preparing for the larger battle to come. His sensors showed 6 more Calarian ships approaching from different directions. They were trying to surround the Retribution, using tactics that had probably worked against civilian vessels. "Yeon Seo, tactical analysis," he ordered. First Officer Yeon Seo studied the approaching enemy formation. 6 ships approaching from multiple vectors. They are trying to prevent us from escaping. Classic pack hunting behavior. Except they are not hunting a helpless prey animal, Do-hyun observed. They are hunting a predator. Jae-sung, prepare our heavy weapons. Today we teach these pirates about Deathworld tactics. The Calarian ships moved in for what they thought would be an easy kill. Their plan was simple. Surround the lone human ship and destroy it with concentrated fire. They had used this tactic successfully against dozens of species. But humans had learned to fight in a different kind of environment. On Earth, predators faced other predators regularly. Survival meant learning to fight when outnumbered, to use superior tactics and technology to overcome numerical disadvantages. "Enemy ships are entering weapons range," Yeon Seo reported. "Wait for it," Do-hyun said calmly. He wanted the aliens to commit fully to their attack before revealing the Retribution's true capabilities. The 6 Calarian ships opened fire simultaneously, filling space with energy beams and missile salvos. Their combined firepower was impressive, enough to destroy most warships. But the retribution was not most warships. Engineer Wu Jin had designed the ship's defensive systems personally. "Shields holding at 90%, he reported. "Their weapons are powerful, but not concentrated enough to penetrate our armor. Now show them what real firepower looks like," Do-hyun ordered. The Retribution's response was devastating, where the Calarians had spread their fire across multiple weapon systems. The humans concentrated everything on a single target. The lead enemy ship disappeared in a ball of superheated plasma as every gun on the human warship fired at once. "One down," Jae-sung reported with satisfaction. "Targeting the second ship." Pilot Kyung-ho, Min-ho's brother, threw the massive warship into a tactical maneuver that should have been impossible for something so large. The Retribution spun and dove like a fighter craft, avoiding the concentrated fire of the remaining 5 enemy ships while bringing its weapons to bear on new targets. The Calarians had never seen anything like it. Their ships were fast and maneuverable, but they fought like civilized species, with careful formations and predictable tactics. The human ship fought like a wild animal, using every trick and advantage it could find. "Impossible!" the Calarian fleet commander screamed over the communication channel. "No ship that large can move like that." Captain Do-hyun activated the response channel. "You have been preying on peaceful species for too long. You forgot that not all species are peaceful. Some of us evolved to be killers." The second Calarian ship tried to ram the Retribution when its weapons proved ineffective. It was a desperate move, the kind of tactic that might work against a surprised civilian vessel. Against a prepared military ship, it was suicide. Jae-sung destroyed the ramming ship with a single precise shot to its reactor core. The explosion lit up space like a small star, sending debris in all directions. "3 down, 4 to go," he announced. On the captured colony ship, Kyung-ho had successfully broken into the Calarian computer systems. What he found there made his blood run cold. "Chief, you need to see this," he called to Min-ho. "These pirates have been busy. The alien databases contained records of hundreds of attacks over the past 20 years. Ships from dozens of different species, all lured in by fake distress calls and then destroyed. The Calarians had turned piracy into an art form. Look at this." Kyung-ho pointed to a specific file. "They have detailed records of every species they have encountered. Psychological profiles, tactical assessments, technological capabilities. This is not random piracy. This is organized warfare." Min-ho studied the data with growing anger. The Calarians had cataloged their victims like a hunter keeping track of game animals. Humans were listed as aggressive but gullible with notes about their advanced weapons and pack-hunting instincts. "They underestimated us," he observed grimly. Captain Veltarix had been listening to the conversation. "You humans are more dangerous than we realized," he admitted. "But you are still outnumbered. Our fleet has over 50 ships. You cannot defeat all of us. Watch us," Min-ho replied. In space, the battle was becoming a demonstration of human tactical superiority. The remaining 4 Calarian ships had broken formation and were trying to escape, but Captain Do-hyun was not going to let them warn the rest of their fleet. "Yonseo, plot intercept courses for all 4 ships," he ordered. "Sir, we cannot catch all of them before they reach the jump point. We do not need to catch them. We just need to destroy them. Jae-sung, prepare the long-range missiles." The Retribution launched a salvo of advanced missiles that could track targets across vast distances. The Calarian ships had superior speed, but human missiles were designed to hunt down fleeing enemies. One by one, the escaping ships were destroyed as the missiles found their targets. The space around the fake colony ship became a graveyard of alien vessels, their hulks drifting silently among the stars. "Area secured," Yonseo reported. "All enemy vessels destroyed or captured." Captain Do-hyun activated the ship-wide communication system. "All hands, this is the captain. We have successfully ended a pirate operation that has been preying on innocent species for decades. Today, the galaxy learned that humans do not make good victims." Dr. Eunji looked up from her analysis station. "Captain, the database from the alien ship contains coordinates for their main base. They have been operating from a hidden facility in the Kepler system." "How many ships?" "According to their records, at least 40 vessels, plus support facilities and thousands of personnel." Do-hyun considered this information. A force that size would require a military response far beyond what the Retribution could handle alone. But Earth needed to know about this threat immediately. "Prepare a message for Terra Command," he ordered. "Tell them we have discovered a major pirate fleet that has been attacking civilian vessels throughout this region. Request immediate military support." He paused, then added, "Also tell them that we have made first contact with an alien species. Unfortunately, they were not peaceful." The Retribution began collecting data from the destroyed ships and preparing for the journey home. They had come to investigate a distress call and ended up fighting humanity's first space battle against an alien enemy. The pirates had learned too late that humans were not prey animals. They were apex predators, and the hunt was just beginning. 6 months after the destruction of the Void Reaper pirate base, the galaxy had learned a new truth about humans. Captain Do-hyun stood on the bridge of the Retribution, reading reports from across known space. Piracy in human-controlled sectors had dropped to 0. More importantly, other species were beginning to request human protection for their shipping lanes. The battle for the Kepler system had lasted only 4 hours. The pirate base, which had seemed so formidable on paper, had crumbled under the concentrated assault of 12 human warships. The Void Reapers had built their defenses to repel desperate attacks by single ships, not coordinated military strikes by professional warriors. Admiral Bo Ram appeared on the communication screen from Earth. "Captain, I have your new orders. Earth has decided to establish a permanent presence in this region of space." "What kind of presence, Admiral?" "We are building a naval station in the former pirate system. The facility will serve as headquarters for the Human Defense Corps, a new organization dedicated to protecting civilian shipping throughout this region." Do-hyun was not surprised. The galaxy's reaction to human military intervention had been mixed, but telling. The governments that had previously told Earth to stay out of their affairs were now quietly asking for help with their own piracy problems. Dr. Eunji looked up from her translation station. "Captain, we are receiving another request for assistance. This time from the Draconi Republic. They say pirates have been attacking their trade convoys." "What kind of pirates?" "According to their message, the attack started 3 months ago, right after news of our victory spread. The pirates are using the same fake distress call tactics the Calarians used." First Officer Yonseo shook her head in amazement. "Do these criminals never learn?" Engineer Wu Jin had a different perspective. "Actually, this makes sense. The destruction of the Void Reapers created a power vacuum. Other pirate groups are moving in to take their place." Captain Do-hyun made his decision. "Send a response. To the Draconi Republic, tell them the Human Defense Corps will investigate their piracy problem and prepare the fleet for another deployment. This had become the new normal for humanity in space. Other species had grown accustomed to tolerating piracy as an unavoidable cost of space travel. Humans refused to accept that logic. If criminals threatened innocent lives, humans would hunt them down and destroy them. Ambassador Jin-A's voice came over the communication system from the diplomatic station. Captain Do-hyun, I need to brief you on the political situation before you engage. Any more pirates? Her image appeared on the screen. Jin-A was a skilled diplomat who had been working to establish formal relations with the various galactic governments. Her job had become much easier after the human military proved its effectiveness. The Galactic Trade Council has passed a resolution formally recognizing human authority over anti-piracy operations in this sector, she reported. Several governments have agreed to pay Earth for protection services. And the governments that opposed our actions? They are changing their tune quickly. The Kalarian government, what is left of it, has formally apologized for the actions of their pirate clans. They have also agreed to pay reparations to the families of victims. Do-hyun was pleased but not surprised. Strength was the only language the galaxy seemed to understand. Humanity had proven its strength, and now other species were eager to be friends. There is one more thing, Jin-A continued. We have received a request for help from an unusual source, a group calling itself the Civilian Protection Alliance. It is made up of representatives from species that have lost ships to pirates. What do they want? They want to hire human military advisors to train their own defense forces. They have realized that paying tribute to pirates only encourages more piracy. This was the most interesting development yet. Instead of relying on human protection, indefinitely some species were asking to learn human military tactics for themselves. Security Chief Min-ho had been monitoring intelligence reports from across the galaxy. Captain, our reputation is spreading faster than we expected. There are now regions of space where pirates refuse to operate because they think humans might show up. Good, Do-hyun replied. Fear is an effective deterrent. Dr. Yoon-ji had been analyzing communication intercepts from various pirate groups. Captain, the criminal organizations are adapting to our tactics. They are avoiding distress call scams and focusing on different methods of attack. What methods? Mostly direct assault on isolated ships. They are also trying to avoid any systems where humans have been active. Yonseo smiled at this news. So we have already reduced piracy just by existing. To some extent, yes. But it also means the remaining pirates are more desperate and potentially more dangerous. Captain Do-hyun considered this information. The galaxy was slowly learning that humans would not tolerate attacks on innocent civilians. But the lesson was not complete yet. Admiral, he said to Bo-Ram, I recommend we expand the Human Defense Corps. If we are going to police this region effectively, we need more ships and personnel. Already approved, Captain. Earth is building 6 new warships, specifically for anti-piracy operations. We are also establishing training facilities to teach other species how to defend themselves. What about the species that still oppose our presence? Bo-Ram's expression grew cold. They can oppose us all they want, as long as they do not interfere with our operations. Any government that actively helps pirates will be treated as an enemy of Earth. The communication ended, and Do-hyun turned to his crew. Prepare the ship for departure. We have a new mission. As the Retribution prepared to hunt down another group of pirates, Do-hyun reflected on how much had changed since that first distress call. The galaxy had expected humans to be just another peaceful species that would tolerate criminal behavior in the name of avoiding conflict. Instead, they had encountered the descendants of apex predators who had conquered the most dangerous planet in known space. Humans did not accept piracy as a fact of life. They eliminated it wherever they found it. The message was spreading across the galaxy. If you attacked innocent travelers, humans would come for you. They would not send negotiators or tributes. They would send warships. Other species were learning to adapt to this new reality. Some were grateful for human protection. Others were resentful of human success. But all of them were forced to acknowledge a simple truth. Humans were not prey. They were hunters. And the galaxy was a much safer place because of it. Years later, when historians studied this period, they would call it the end of the age of piracy. Criminal organizations that had operated freely for centuries found themselves hunted by human warships across dozens of star systems. The species that had sent that first distress call had wanted to lure in helpless victims. Instead, they had awakened sleeping giants who refused to let evil go unpunished. The hunt would continue until every pirate in the galaxy learned the same lesson the Calarians had learned too late. Earth did not send aid to those who called for help. Earth sent justice. 6 months after the destruction of the Void Reaper pirate base, the galaxy had learned a new truth about humans. Captain Do-hyun stood on the bridge of the Retribution, reading reports from across known space. Piracy in human-controlled sectors had dropped to 0. More importantly, other species were beginning to request human protection for their shipping lanes. The battle for the Kepler system had lasted only 4 hours. The pirate base, which had seemed so formidable on paper, had crumbled under the concentrated assault of 12 human warships. The Void Reapers had built their defenses to repel desperate attacks by single ships, not coordinated military strikes by professional warriors. Admiral Bo-Ram appeared on the communication screen from Earth. "Captain, I have your new orders. Earth has decided to establish a permanent presence in this region of space." "What kind of presence, Admiral?" "We are building a naval station in the former pirate system. The facility will serve as headquarters for the Human Defense Corps, a new organization dedicated to protecting civilian shipping throughout this region." Do-hyun was not surprised. The galaxy's reaction to human military intervention had been mixed but telling. The governments that had previously told Earth to stay out of their affairs were now quietly asking for help with their own piracy problems. Dr. Yoon-ji looked up from her translation station. "Captain, we are receiving another request for assistance. This time from the Draconi Republic. They say pirates have been attacking their trade convoys." "What kind of pirates?" "According to their message, the attack started 3 months ago, right after news of our victory spread. The pirates are using the same fake distress call tactics the Calarians used." First Officer Yeon Seo shook her head in amazement. "Do these criminals never learn?" Engineer Woo Jin had a different perspective. "Actually, this makes sense. The destruction of the Void Reapers created a power vacuum. Other pirate groups are moving in to take their place. Captain Do-hyun made his decision. Send a response. To the Draconi Republic. Tell them the Human Defense Corps will investigate their piracy problem and prepare the fleet for another deployment." This had become the new normal for humanity in space. Other species had grown accustomed to tolerating piracy as an unavoidable cost of space travel. Humans refused to accept that logic. If criminals threatened innocent lives, humans would hunt them down and destroy them. Ambassador Jin A's voice came over the communication system from the diplomatic station. Captain Do-hyun, I need to brief you on the political situation before you engage. Any more pirates? Her image appeared on the screen. Jinny was a skilled diplomat who had been working to establish formal relations with the various galactic governments. Her job had become much easier after the human military proved its effectiveness. The Galactic Trade Council has passed a resolution formally recognizing human authority over anti-piracy operations in this sector, she reported. Several governments have agreed to pay Earth for protection services. And the governments that opposed our actions? They are changing their tune quickly. The Calarian government, what is left of it, has formally apologized for the actions of their pirate clans. They have also agreed to pay reparations to the families of victims. Do-hyun was pleased but not surprised. Strength was the only language the galaxy seemed to understand. Humanity had proven its strength, and now other species were eager to be friends. There is one more thing, Jinne continued. We have received a request for help from an unusual source, a group calling itself the Civilian Protection Alliance. It is made up of representatives from species that have lost ships to pirates. What do they want? They want to hire human military advisors to train their own defense forces. They have realized that paying tribute to pirates only encourages more piracy. This was the most interesting development yet. Instead of relying on human protection, indefinitely, some species were asking to learn human military tactics for themselves. Security Chief Min Ho had been monitoring intelligence reports from across the galaxy. Captain, our reputation is spreading faster than we expected. There are now regions of space where pirates refuse to operate because they think humans might show up. Good, Do-hyun replied. Fear is an effective deterrent. Dr. Yun-ji had been analyzing communication intercepts from various pirate groups. Captain, the criminal organizations are adapting to our tactics. They are avoiding distress call scams and focusing on different methods of attack. What methods? Mostly direct assault on isolated ships. They are also trying to avoid any systems where humans have been active. Yonseo smiled at this news. So we have already reduced piracy just by existing. To some extent, yes, but it also means the remaining pirates are more desperate and potentially more dangerous. Captain Do-hyun considered this information. The galaxy was slowly learning that humans would not tolerate attacks on innocent civilians. But the lesson was not complete yet. Admiral, he said to Bo-Ram, I recommend we expand the Human Defense Corps. If we are going to police this region effectively, we need more ships and personnel. Already approved, Captain. Earth is building 6 new warships, specifically for anti-piracy operations. We are also establishing training facilities to teach other species how to defend themselves. What about the species that still oppose our presence? Bo-Ram's expression grew cold. They can oppose us all they want, as long as they do not interfere with our operations. Any government that actively helps pirates will be treated as an enemy of Earth. The communication ended, and Do-hyun turned to his crew. Prepare the ship for departure. We have a new mission. As the Retribution prepared to hunt down another group of pirates, Do-hyun reflected on how much had changed since that first distress call. The galaxy had expected humans to be just another peaceful species that would tolerate criminal behavior in the name of avoiding conflict. Instead, they had encountered the descendants of apex predators who had conquered the most dangerous planet in known space. Humans did not accept piracy as a fact of life. They eliminated it wherever they found it. The message was spreading across the galaxy. If you attacked innocent travelers, humans would come for you. They would not send negotiators or tributes. They would send warships. Other species were learning to adapt to this new reality. Some were grateful for human protection. Others were resentful of human success. But all of them were forced to acknowledge a simple truth. Humans were not prey. They were hunters. And the galaxy was a much safer place because of it. Years later, when historians studied this period, they would call it the end of the age of piracy. Criminal organizations that had operated freely for centuries found themselves hunted by human warships across dozens of star systems. The species that had sent that first distress call had wanted to lure in helpless victims. Instead, they had awakened sleeping giants who refused to let evil go unpunished. The hunt would continue until every pirate in the galaxy learned the same lesson the Calarians had learned too late. Earth did not send aid to those who called for help. Earth sent justice